This is a simple illustration on how to achieve this dress. Now to start, we're going to draft the upper part. Here's the shoulder to bust, under bust, waist. Then I added 5 inches after the waistline. Go ahead to mark the shoulder divided by 2 here. I'll come down by 1 inch. Then for the neckline, you can use 2.8 inches by 2 inches, right? The high neckline. If you're not okay with it, you can readjust. Neckline, I'll connect from the shoulder slant. I'll connect to the neckline. The next step is to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. Whatever mark I have, I'll place there and draw a straight line. Now, whatever measurement you have at the shoulder, I'll place back there. And I'll place my ruler, draw out a straight line and connect. After connecting, I'm going to divide what I have from the shoulder to the chest line into 2 by folding my tape, mark ½ inch, and then come out by ½ inch. Place my tape and mark the bust circumference divided by 4. Now, connect from the shoulder to the midpoint and then connect it to your bust circumference divided by 4. After you're done cutting this, we'll start by marking the dart. Mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2. Then go ahead to draw out a straight line. After marking that, for this pattern, I'll be using princess dart bust here. So connect from the midpoint to your bust. Now for the dart intake, for a smaller bust, the front part you use ½ inch, right? Then if your bust is fuller, use 1 inch. Here for a smaller bust, use 1.5. For a fuller bust, you use 2 inches. You will repeat the same thing at the upper part also, and then also repeat it at the other side. Now after connecting, you're going to take your ruler, connect this all the way down, and then connect on the other side. Then connect from the bust to the under bust on both sides. Mark ½ inch at the armhole, reconnect it and reconnect this part. So this ½ inch now, ½ inch will give you 1 inch. Now extend it out by 1 inch, then reconnect it to your armhole back. Now for your measurement, mark your bust measurement divided by 4. Pick this 1 inch dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. Now for the under bust, you're going to mark the under bust measurement divided by 4. Pick the dart intake, replace and add your own sewing allowance to the pattern. Mark your waist measurement divided by 4. Replace the dart intake, add your sewing allowance. Mark your hip measurement on the blouse length, replace the dart intake also and add your sewing allowance. Now I'll go ahead to connect this all the way going down to the lower part of my pattern. Now you can use a basic dart for this pattern, right? Or you can use this princess dart. I did not really see any darts at the upper part, so I'm just using a princess dart bust here. Now mark your bust dart. To get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back, which is my shoulder to waist in front is 17, while my shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5. If you take out 15.5 from 17, you will have 1.5. So now what I'm going to do is I will come in by half and come down to draw this keyhole neckline. Blend this side and come up by 1 inch from the side, then reconnect this, then connect this side to create that little curve you have here. Remember, this curve is on one side. I didn't get to see the other side. Blend in your dart intake, your bust dart, sorry, when you're cutting out the side of this dress, and I'll go ahead to cut out. After cutting it out, I'll go ahead to open it up, right, and then cut out the excess on this other side. So this is what I have over here. This is what my pattern is looking like, right? Now you cut out the turtle neckline and add to the neckline of this dress. So this is the side that has the opening. For the back pattern of this dress, it has a stylish lacing. So for this back, we'll be cutting it as a dartless pattern. Here's the shoulder measurement. I found the chest line like we did for the front. Here's the shoulder to bust, waist, and then add extra 5 inches after your waistline like we did for the front pattern. Now for the back, use a basic measurement of 3 by 1 inch, right? Now I will cut this as a dartless pattern. Mark your bust measurement divided by 4 and add your sewing allowance. Waist measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. Mark the hip measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. Now after you're done marking this, go ahead to connect from the chest line to the waist and to the blouse length. Now after connecting, come up by 1 inch, just like we did for that of the front pattern. Now you notice here came up, you can come up by 2 inches to 3 inches depending on how high you want it to be, and connect. Now we're almost done drafting the back pattern. Now you want to come in a bit from the neckline and go down to create this shape, right? Is when you're making this dress, please take this lacing a bit to the bust area, right? So mine stopped at the chest line. It's meant to stop towards the bust. Now you're going to create like a lacing here, and you'll be cutting out this part, right? I'll go ahead to cut out this pattern. Go ahead to cut this out. After cutting this out, for the lower part of this dress is more like cutting your dress on gathers, right? So now what you need is about 4 yards of fabric, because the lower part has to be full and it's a gathers at the lower part. Now what you do is cut out your 4 yards of fabric, and then you go ahead to join it on one side. Please, when you're joining it, it's not a must that the joining will be at the front, right? I'm just using this for an illustration, right? So after joining your pattern, now what you need to do is you have to notch the sides, right? If you join your pattern, we have 4 yards, you will have 2 yards for the front and 2 yards for the back of the dress. Now notch each side, because you're going to join it to the side of the dress. You want to make sure that you allocate the same measurement at the back and at the front, right? Now another thing you need to do is to find the midpoint again, notch it. Why you're doing this is because you notice at one side of this gown we have like a high-low effect. Now this is so that you can allocate equal gathers on each side of this dress. Now when you notch it, place the notched part at the center of your blouse. Now you can now gather this area, right? Gather it. When you now gather it, you decide where the gathers will meet the notch we have there. When you now like decide where you want it to be on that side, you can now go ahead to like determine how high you want it to be. Now from there, you're going to connect it down and then connect it on the other side. Now whatever you're cutting for the length of this dress should be longer than the actual length. It should be very long, that it will now flow at the lower part. What you have to do is now cut out that side, and you now gather the rest of the waistline of the dress to match up with the waistline of the back. Now if you use 4 yards, maybe you're working for a plus size and it's not full enough, please use 5 yards, right? Now for the lining, you're going to use the same pattern, but while cutting, your pattern will be 1 inch shorter than the actual dress, that the lining can drag like ½ inch to 1 inch of the main fabric inside the dress, which will now serve as a turn up allowance for the dress.